Hello and welcome. I am Elish, and with Big Performance Podcast, we have a great guest today. It's Dave, also known as Flat Earth Dave. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Alex. Looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I was just on the weekend thinking about this conversation in advance, and I was evaluating how I want to meet you and get your perspective on something. And that was more than I want to see my friends. So there's like, if my friends are over here, here's Dave. I'm like, what
I appreciate
does
that. That's
Dave
very nice.
think?
Well, this is a topic that resonates with everybody on a deep level. Whether they can break through their conscious screening and their programming to get down to the understanding of the true reality of this world is a separate question. But it is something that your soul, that your inner being wants you to know. They want you to know where you are, who you are, what you are, and how important you are. But the controllers of this world want the opposite.
How did it start for you? When did you think, well, I see that mainstream media seem to be lying about stuff, and I want to explore the stuff for myself? Because this is definitely a trend where people started noticing stuff, and then with the even the mainstream science changes every 10 years. So 10 years ago they were saying some things, and now somebody proven them wrong, and now they're saying new things with the same consistency. So, and we are left wondering, so did you lie back then, or were you not aware of the truth? And the looking for truth is kind of what you can speak about.
Well, I mean, it goes all the way back to when my parents lied to me about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. Right? If my parents could lie to me, then who else could
So
lie?
far
And
away.
then,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was in first grade or kindergarten, I forget what year. And the teacher took us outside to teach us about gravity. And he took a bucket of water on a rope and swung it around and said, "See, that's gravity." And I was like, at that little age, I said, "Doesn't the water have to be on the outside? Because if we're on a ball, the water's on the outside of the ball. So swinging it around would make all the water fly away." And the teacher goes and gets me the book, had all these different highlights in it and like highlighted a million times. And he showed me the paragraph. He goes, "This is how they told me to teach it. So this is how I'm going to teach it." And he knew it was wrong, but he was just following orders. So early on in my life, I realized that people do lie and people will just follow orders because that's their job. And then flash forward, 2001, 9/11 happened. And from where I live, I can see New York City perfectly clearly over the water. And I saw what really happened that morning, which wasn't what they told us. And that kind of opened my eyes, and I started looking into that, and I realized that that's a lie. And then everything's. I found out that everything's a lie. There's William Casey, I believe his name is, a CIA director here back in the 60s or 70s. I'm not sure when. He said, once everything the American people believe is a lie, our job will be done. And I thought that was a bit extreme, but starting to look into all of the different deceptions in this world, he's right. Everything the American people believe is a lie. Everything from our history to where we live, and it's shocking. It's sometimes it's too shocking for many people to even deal with. So they won't look. And so how did I get into it? I was doing a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, looking into stuff from 9/11 to to the Boston Marathon bombing to all these other deceptions, from the world wars, how they were started. nuclear bombs. That's another deception. And people started sending me flat earth stuff. And that was a line where I drew in the sand. I said, I'm not crossing that line. Not everything. You can't question that we live on a globe, pear shaped or ball shaped, whatever you want to say. And then I was forced to look. And I went in with a closed mind to debunk it. I was just like, I'm not even going to even leave a possibility that flat earth is true. I'm just going to prove that it's not true. I'm going to disprove the flat earth and prove the globe and be done with this stupidness that's wasting my time. And for 2 weeks, I didn't sleep. I was looking hard. And the harder I looked, the worse it got. It's like when a bug gets into a spider web, the harder he tries to get out, the more webs attached to him. And so the more information I was finding him back then, 2013, 2014, YouTube was very good. It would watch what you're watching, and then it would recommend other similar videos. And so it just kept feeding me more information. Now people say, "Oh, where do you get your information from?" YouTube. It's like YouTube is like life. It's just a storage of information. It's just everything from nonsense to facts. You just have to use your God-given discernment to understand um, what's real and what's not real. So that's how I got into it. And since then, my life took a turn that I never expected. I left my career. I was very successful in the business world. I had what they call the American dream, I guess, because I worked for myself, made lots of money, and I walked away from it all to talk to people like you, Alex, and spread this word. And people say, "Well, why? What difference does the shape of the Earth make?" I still have to go to work on Monday. That's what we've all been programmed to say. And once you understand that it does make a difference, it's not the shape that matters; it's your position in it, and it's your power, and it's that you're being controlled like a puppet. Once you understand that, it makes all the difference in the world. So that's what I'm doing here. That's how I got into it.
Surprisingly, the example that you're sharing of this mindset, I'm just going to go to work on Monday, is what started my transformation, because I was led to this mindset that I am a worker. I get education, I go to work, and that's it. And it was kind of tricky for me, but I saw more relevance to the idea that I'm just a monkey that will live my life however and then die. And that was so far from this I go to work scenario. So I thought that there is value for people who control the information to let me think like that I'm a worker. I will be
Well,
working and then I will be useless to the company at some point.
well, here in the
But
United
also,
States,
yeah,
good. I wanted to just add to that when you're done. Go ahead.
also professionally, I've been watching close the marketing. This podcast would not be possible without our business of selling website templates. We developed a bunch of them, 25. You can choose what website template and style works best for your business. Buy a template, populate it with your information and details at products and services, and you are all set, ready to go with Webflow powerful infrastructure. Websites would be fast, easy to manage, and work for any of your marketing needs. Would it be ads or sharing the link with your neighbor? Now, back to the episode. And through my marketing career, I had this internal conflict with some of the things that I was made to promote and some ways how we promote and control the uh, information. For example, the advertising auction and how that works, and how I start seeing the failure of the alternative views that do not have the money behind them, how they just fail in auction, and that's it. We have one view, the view that gives us money. And And I saw the detrimental effect of this on people. For example, the weaponization of information and how people are led to believe stuff that is not good for them. Imagine the uh, ad video for a sugar replacement sweetener. They say, okay, sugar kills you. So first we get people frightened. Then we say, but if you use our artificial sweetener, you will be healthy. And they show the image of a basically fitness influencer drinking their coffee with their sweetener and eating at the same time donuts with the friends. So I am led to believe that if I replace sugar in my coffee with this trash, I can eat whatever I want, as much sugar that I want to
Right.
consume otherwise, and still be this healthy. And for some reason, I will get friends as well. So I will be socially attractive at the same time, which is bullshit. I will be dead in a few years with that mindset. But it sells their product.
Yeah.
How do I need to filter the things that are beneficial for me from this noise of commercially viable ideas?
Well, they've made it so people are just lazy. They want everything fed to them and handed to them. Um, People, a thing I always say is, if you want to become rich, invent something that makes people lazier. And because everybody wants the easy way to do stuff, like if you have to cook dinner for your family, you have to go out and shop. You have to prepare the food. You have to cook. You have to serve the food. You have to clean. And that's just the way it is. But you can always order fast food. Then you don't have to really think about it. You just order what you want and you throw everything in the garbage when you're done. And if you want to be lazier than that, you can order what we have here in America called DoorDash, where they'll bring the fast food to you. And if you leave your door unlocked, they'll put it on the table in front of you so you don't even have to get off the couch. So, and these are multi-billion-dollar businesses. Um, so when, advertising comes around, people are entertained, their minds are controlled. Break down the word entertainment. Tain is to hold, and, ment is the mind. Um, so when you see an advertisement like that, you can just believe, because belief is the lazy man's knowing. For example, where do I live?
Connecticut.
You wrote it down. Very good. Um, do you believe it or do you know it?
I believe it.
Yes, see, there you go. It's easy to believe, and you've stored that information. You looked and said, he told me he lives in Connecticut, probably lives in Connecticut. I'm going to believe he lives in Connecticut. There's no need for me to go do any extra work, because that's the lazy man's way. But you used your God-given judgment and figured out all the factors, like, why would he lie? It makes sense. I'm going to believe it. But if someone held a gun to your head and said, does David live in Connecticut? Yes or no? You wouldn't be able to answer that, because it's just a belief. So knowing is what takes time and effort, and advertisements have made it so people can just, if I eat that, if I put that in my coffee, I'm good. And advertisements are, I don't want to say that they're evil, but when you're doing, let's say you're in charge of an advertisement campaign, you're in charge of promoting something. If deep down inside you know this is crap, you're going against your God-given senses, your God-given purpose, and putting out false information, and that's not good for you, and on every level, cellular, mentally, spiritually. But if you're sending a message like I believe I'm sending a message that resonates with everybody deep down. Just like you said earlier, you were more excited about talking to me than seeing your friends. That says something. That says that there is a resonance to this message, and that it is important. So, getting back to the education, you here in America, I think it's worldwide, the Rockefellers took over the education system in the very early 1900s, and they said, we don't want a world of of thinkers. We want a world of workers. So they teach you what makes you a slave in their corporate system. You know, when they teach you math in school, they teach you corporate math, slave math, accounting, geometry. They teach you algebra. Everyone loves algebra, right? And but they don't teach you about sacred geometry or vortex for mathematics because they don't want you figuring out what this place is. So there you go. That was kind of
What
a
is
long answer.
vortex mathematics? For first time I hear that.
Yeah, the Tesla talked about the power of 369. If you just go on YouTube when we're done here and look at just Google vortex mathematics and start watching a few videos, it'll blow your mind. It's about how this world works. It gets into the sacred geometry and everything. It's really difficult for me to explain, but watch a couple videos, you'll be hooked. Vortex mathematics. There's some great teachers online.
I definitely see how that happened from the factory revolution to the hey, who gonna work on our factories? Let's invent the education in a way that prepares people to go to the factories and work.
Damn right.
Definitely, I am really frustrated that this thing holds up for such a long period of time.
Well, it's
But
not as long as you thought. I mean, the whole globe lie, it's not thousands of years old. They say, oh, Eratosthenes 2,000 years ago figured out the circumference of the earth with sticks and shadows. Bull crap. That is nonsense. And I could show you that it doesn't prove either. And that experiment never actually happened. And maybe we'll get into that. But I was interviewing a woman named Ruth in 2020. And she was 102 years old, and I was interviewing her about the World's Fair. Here's Ruth right here, and I asked her out of the blue. I said, "What did they teach you in school in the 1920s about the Earth?" And she said, "They taught me the Earth was flat." So here in public school in America, they were teaching flat Earth in schools exclusively in 1920s. Right. And then we found other people all the way up to the 1950s. It said in the 1950s, early 60s, they were teaching flat and globe because they didn't know. And then all of a sudden, it was removed from the school system, and it's like it never existed. Like it never existed. They don't want you to know that, our world is like this, right? We live in a pond. What does a pond need? A pond needs a shoreline that's higher than the water to contain the water. You can't have a glass of water if one side of the glass is missing. You can't have a pond of water unless there's something containment. Large bodies of water need containment, right? You can't put water on the outside of a ball that's spinning in a space vacuum and orbiting in a space vacuum. It's silly, right? So imagine this. Here we are, right? Where's Thailand? Thailand would be over here, right? Thailand's over there.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm over here. So this is Antarctica, the shoreline of our world. No one's allowed to go beyond that pink line there's no free exploration beyond this pink circle. Weird, right? Why is that? Question is, what's out here in this outer space? What's out here, right? It looks like Antarctica could be bigger than all of the rest of the world oceans combined. What's out there is the question. And so if you had a mountain lion as a pet and you kept him in your yard that's a quarter of an acre, fenced in, he would not be happy. He'd be pacing back and forth looking for a way out. Put him in a bigger yard, 100 yards, a mile around. He's still going to want to get over the fence. Put him in 50,000 acres. He's fine. He comes to the fence. He sees the fence. He turns around. He goes the other way, and he lives his life. Put a human in there. As soon as he sees the fence, he wants to go to the other side of the fence. So how do you make an invisible fence? This is how. If I cut this out right outside here, let's say, okay, we'll cut that out, and we'll wrap it around a sphere, right? And then you wrap it around a sphere and say, this is where you live. And guess what? You're not allowed to explore this white area. We'll take you, if you want to go to Antarctica, we'll take you right here to a little island called Deception Island. We'll show you some penguins. We'll show you some ice, but nobody is allowed to explore over here.
That's true.
That is true. It's called the Antarctic Treaty. And the question
I
is,
think they only allow the ships to go to the stations in one season of the year. So there is like
right.
one time of the year that you are allowed to arrive if you have all the credentials in the world of the
There's different bases, and people don't
explorer
go from
adventurer, but
right.
not you are not to go any further from the station. You just can chill there.
So getting back to my fence now, we don't need to speculate what's beyond the shoreline of Antarctica to prove that the Earth is flat. But I do like speculating about it because there's lots of evidence that there is more land, more civilizations, more people, more everything. So remember, we cut it out, we wrapped it around a ball. What if? Excuse me, it's a little early in the morning here. I'm losing my voice already. What if the world looked like this? What if this was Antarctica? And out here is more land, right? So if you're living on the extra territory, extra terra, you would be an extraterrestrial from the outer space. And if you came in and visited, you'd be an extraterrestrial from the outer space. And this is just a day trip on a conventional aircraft, not space coming from other solar systems, which are ridiculous distances away. These are just things that you were never allowed to think about. These are things that they never told you. You know, the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, but when we send a balloon up that's up there for 3.5 hours, the Earth doesn't spin out from underneath it, right? The Earth is spinning to the east, right? So the balloon goes up, the person should land thousands of miles to the west, but the balloon landed like 80 miles to the east. So it went up, it outran the Earth and landed in front of where it was spinning, right? Does that sun look 93 million miles away, or is it just right there? Look how it's lighting up this part of the Earth, but not this part of the Earth. It's a hot spot because it's a local light. And what people don't realize is the motions that in the heliocentric religion, I call it a religion because there's no proof. Not only are we orbiting the sun, we're chasing the sun. We're orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour and chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour. All of these directions are curved trajectories because the program response is, well, when I'm in an airplane, I can drink a glass of water and I don't feel the motion. Well, I say you do feel the motion, but sure, you can drink a glass of water. But if you want to just compare the spin of the Earth to the airplane, you have to take off the outer shell of the airplane because there's no outer shell over the Earth. You have to double the speed of the airplane because the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. The airplane's only going at 500 miles an hour. And you have to nosedive at a mile per minute just to follow the curve. Let me know how your water's doing at that point on the airplane, right? So that's just the spin of the Earth. The orbit is 66 times faster, and then we're chasing it. Let me give you a quick comparison. This is the hypersonic sled track. It's the fastest thing that we have. NASA made it, didn't even see it go by. It goes by at Mach 8.6. That's 8.6 times the speed of sound. Watch again. Can't even see it, right? But you have to believe.
What is it? Is it
it's a rocket sled. It's a rocket sled on a train, on a train. It's called a rocket sled. It's going by at like 7,000 miles an hour, whatever the Mach 8.6. It's ridiculous. Okay, 6,000 miles an hour, whatever. And you can't even fathom that speed. But you have to believe that we live on a rocky, lumpy rock surrounded by curved water that never shows any curve when at rest, surrounded by high pressure air, adjacent to a void, a vacuum of no space, of no pressure, right? That all breaks every law of thermodynamics there is, every law of physics, And we are going around the sun 10 times faster than this in a curved path. We're chasing the sun at 100 times faster than this, right? 100 times faster than this. But when we go out into nature, we see this. We see this.
Yeah, that's a point of perspective.
A point of perspective, we are moving in 4 different directions, all of them not linear, curved. Curved is acceleration. If you're going 100 miles an hour in a car, you fill a dinner plate with water, and that car speeds up, slows down, or takes the slightest turn, the water is going to go right off the plate. But we have this all the time. This is moving 1,000 miles an hour in one direction, 66,000 in another direction, curving directions, going 2.2 million miles an hour in another direction. And there's no sign of motion at all. No sign of motion at all.
What I am interested in right now is this like experiential understanding of reality that you are suggesting. How do you feel in this worldview that you are in about yourself? So some people think of themselves as the center of the universe, and if we try to look from the outer space, we are kind of a speck of dust in a cold vastness of space. So where you at between those opposites?
So the truth is that we are born in the center of creation. We are all part of creation. Everything around us is alive. We're part of a living system from the sky to the ground. So we are important, but the elite don't want us to know how important we are because they want us to believe that we're an insignificant speck in an ever expanding universe, right? In the heliocentric religion, once upon a time there was nothing. It exploded and became everything. This is the story of the heliocentric religion, which is the globe religion. And then all of this matter started compiling into spinning balls, and all of the gases, instead of violently filling the available space, they collapse into burning suns and stars, right? Gas collapsing.
The Big Bang.
Yeah, the Big Bang. But gas violently fills the available space. When you open up a soda can, it instantly equalizes. If I had a box of air in a room that had no air, and I poked a hole in that box, the air will violently fill the room and spread out. But in space, helium and hydrogen that defy gravity on Earth collapse and turn into gravitational burning balls that burn for billions and billions and billions and billions of years smoothly and consistently. Baloney. It's all nonsense, right? And then a lightning spark happened, and an amoeba was created. It turned into a fish, that turned into a frog, that turned into a human, right? And here we are. This is the heliocentric religion. They want you to feel insignificant. They tell us that the universe is expanding at like 1 billion miles a minute. Into what? Space is expanding into what? Okay. They say these grandiose things with their pocket protectors on and their lab coats, and they want you to say, oh, I'm not smart enough. He's got a degree, right? Well, they got degrees in BS, right? They got degrees in BS. If I wrote the book of BS and it was this thick and I gave it to you and you studied it and I tested you and you got 100, I give you a certificate that says, hey, you are now an academic in BS. And if you teach BS to anybody and they question you, you just point to your certificate and go, I'm qualified. Where's your certification? Where's your degree? I've got a degree in bullshit. Okay. Am I allowed to say? I try not to swear. So that's what teachers do. How do you become a teacher? You memorize the BS and you regurgitate it beautifully, and you don't question things. Just like that experience I told you I had in preschool or elementary school, whatever it was, where the teacher said, that's how I'm told to teach it. That's how I teach it. Teachers are memorizers and regurgitators. They're not allowed to teach out of the system. It's the same thing in the medical field, right? If you have a cure for somebody that has the C word, I don't want to say it if it's on YouTube, right? and that you know that this cure works, and you know that the protocol that they give you, burn, and poison, is going to kill the person, you have to do cut, burn, and poison because that's what you're told to do. That's what Big Pharma tells you to do. You're not allowed to give them Laetrile, right? You're not allowed to do these other things. It's the same thing with education, right? So where am I in this is I am trying to help people unplug from the globe matrix. The globe is a matrix for your mind. It's a prison for your mind. And once you break out of that prison, you can see through all of the other nonsense, right? You can see through all of the garbage, right? And people say, well, why would they lie? Well, why would they lie, right? Hiding free energy, hiding the creator, hiding your spirituality, hiding more land, hiding more resources, hiding scientific knowledge, hiding what's in Antarctica, hiding that we're at the center of creation. And here's the important thing, is your thoughts create your reality. Think about that. Your thoughts create reality. Look at your life. Your thoughts got you exactly where you are right now. Good or bad, the biggest conspiracy in the world is that this system, this soul system, a system for souls to exist, not soul lure system, because that's what the elite are trying to do. They're trying to steal your soul. They're trying to lure it away, right? In this soul system, if your belief is that you live on a ball and they're running out of resources and everything's scary, you don't even have the ability to reach your full potential because you can't even imagine it because it doesn't exist in your fake reality. So
in
that
in talking to you, I think that an interesting perspective would be to think like, are thoughts the uh, is are my thoughts what change my reality, or are my words what changes my reality? Because words certainly influence our perception of the world, and when we use the language of the media that we consume, we inhabit that reality that those words construct for us. And with the topic of trusting or not trusting the media, I am thinking about the way official science tries to limit our use of words. Because if we try using different words, they're saying, no, 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 this book coined the term as this. If you want to change the term or use another term, you are not correct. So there is some level of correctness. What
yeah,
I hate of the standard accepted science would be the view that the civilizations uh, were made separately. They never communicated. People did not think of crossing a vast space of ocean to share the knowledge. And I'm like, kind of the internet does that several million times per second right now with the cables. So you're saying that people did not row the freaking boat to tell the other people about agriculture? No, they didn't. And official science says no. Nobody talked to anyone, and the like unexplained things that are still left from older civilizations were made by the oldest one would be Egyptian, and that's it. This is officially the science. And
you've
here
looked
in
into
Asia,
the old,
there are temples that
yeah,
were built before the pyramids,
yes.
and they're like, yeah, everything after this is like settlers made made that thing officially.
Have you looked into the old world? Have you looked in? It sounds like you have a little bit looked into what was here before us.
Yeah, a little bit.
On
I
my
enjoyed the Netflix documentation about the oldest civilizations. What was the guy's name?
get get off Netflix. There's so much nonsense on there. There are a couple good shows.
I canceled it yesterday.
Good for
Yesterday I
you.
canceled my Netflix
So
subscription.
flatearthdave.com, that's my website. And you'll see a banner. There's some blocks. You'll see one that says Old World Order. Watch that. It's free. It's on. It. YouTube won't serve it to you, but you can find it, and I have a link to it on my website. Watch it. It'll open up your mind. Also, on my app, which I've been showing here, I created an app that bypasses YouTube's algorithm. I have I have this Tataria Old World Griffin button. You click that, and there's all sorts of stuff. Here's Old World Order again. But there's a guy called I'm the Improbable Dreamer. He's on Instagram. My Lunch Break is on all platforms. John Levy. The Lost History of Flat Earth. That's 5-hour video on here. There's a whole bunch of videos, but one of them's 5 hours. I'll tell you a quick story about that 5-hour video. Somebody sent it to me. I was like, I'm not watching a 5-hour video. I was like, that's just too long. I've never watched a 5-hour video. And then more people sent it to me. And one night, it was on 11 p.m. I'm cleaning up some stuff. I said, let me just throw this on, and I'll watch it in the background for a couple minutes, see what it's about. Next thing I know, it's 4 a.m. I'm holding my head going, what the hell just happened? Right? I watched a 5-hour video, right? Took care of work that day, came back and watched it again. I watched a 5-hour video twice in one day. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect people that don't believe in any of this stuff to watch a 5-hour video, but I have it there because eventually you're going to get to the point going, wow, I want more information. Hit that up. My app, just real quick, it's a $3 app. I'm just letting you know. The trolls are going to show up going, Dave is just a grifter. He's trying to sell his $3 app. I'm trying to save you time. I'm trying to make your life easier because researching Flat Earth, you'll spend 500 hours to find an hour's worth of good information. Everything on here is good information. I have featured videos every day. I have a frequently asked questions button. Like if you say, well, Flat Earth, what about satellites and GPS? What about what about where does the sun go? What about eclipses? Or why the lie? My favorite section right there. All of the videos in here, all of them are hidden from you on YouTube. They're not going to, Google will never feed them to you. Even if you search for them by name, they probably don't come up half the time. So,
and people on the internet are saying that is like money grab operation.
No,
as a marketing guy, I can say that it is too little for the app. You should have like $10 monthly subscription,
well,
and
no,
then provide stuff that people want more like.
So there is that. Thanks for asking. The $3 gets you 95% of the stuff on here, and plenty of stuff. But I have a friend finder. We have a social media aspect on the app, where basically you have your wall, you have your friends, you can message people, you can do all sorts of stuff, and there's also a friend finder where you can find other people in your area. You can set up meetups. Some of the parts of that require a subscription, but it's not $11 a month. It's $11 a year. Okay? I make it super cheap.
All right.
And the reason I charge for that is because if you use these features, it costs me more than $3 for you. Okay? In server fees and stuff. So this isn't about making money. However, we all do need to make money to survive in this world. So that's in there. But I also have a way where you can earn a free subscription. In the friend finder, there's a referral section. You click that middle button and you can have a custom referral name. So if anyone downloads the app and you use my referral code, DITRH, I get a point, and you can trade in 11 points for a free subscription. And also, if you're into crypto, you put in your crypto wallet address here, and you earn Dome tokens. You earn Dome tokens, and that actually has a value that's worth more than $3. For each referral, you get about $5 right now in Dome. Dome
very
token.
Ironic.
Yeah, Dome. The Dome. We're going to the Dome. Yeah. But on the app, you can learn all about that right here with this is the Dome button. They'll teach you all about it. But again, I'm here. My goal is to get new people to understand that you don't live on a ball, that all the stuff that the elite are doing to you is voluntary. It's not mandatory. And that you have you have free will, and they're not allowed to take it away from you. Right? People are, well, I'm only one person. What could I do? I still have to go to work and everything. One person awake is more powerful than millions sleeping. And when you understand that there's nothing they can do to you unless you agree, then then that's when you free yourself. When you understand how this place works, it'll blow your mind, right? Real quick. This is divine law is the law of God. Common law is the law of the land. Statute law, admiral maritime law is the law of the sea or man's law. In order to convince man to give up his divine rights, those are your God-given rights, and their common rights, again, God-given rights, you have to convince them that they're not divine and created in a divine world. So when you're born, they birth certificate you, trade you on the stock market. They tell you that you live on a ball, because if you play on their ball field, you have to play by their ball field rules, right? If governments said, yes, this world is created by God and it's flat, just the way God created it, they'd only be able to create rules or laws that abide by God's law. And so they can't do that. So they created their whole satanic ball. When I say satanic ball, the globe is filled with 666s everywhere, right? It is unreal, right? I mean, take a screenshot of this. I'm not going to go through them all. It's crazy on all the 666s that are out there. Here's 3. 6 times 6 times 600 is the circumference of the Earth. 0.666 inches of curvature per mile. 66.6 thousand miles per hour around the sun. 6 times 6 times 60 is the diameter of the moon. Goes on and on and on and on. Why is that? I don't know. Could have something to do with NASA. If you do a reverse order of A26Z1, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, equals 666. Just weird. Just a coincidence, right? It's got to be just a coincidence, right?
If we say that numerology is correct, we can say that this thing is not a coincidence as well.
Well,
What I wanted to
numerology
ask
is
you about the more recent stuff would
good.
be how many people were awakened due to the restrictions of COVID. When I think that is really motivating for people when they are in pain, where they are constricted, very limited in what they do. This is the time that they want to change. Did you see the more people awakening during the COVID time?
It's funny, we have the app has over 200,000 people on it, and 99.9% of them did not buy the COVID nonsense. They excuse me. They're awake and aware to all of the, when you wake up to flat Earth, you see through everything. All of a sudden, you can see all the other deceptions, and the whole COVID thing. They may try it again, in the near future. But I don't think people are going to wake up. A lot of people, because they were working from home, they were stuck at home. Now everyone's working remote. People have a lot more time to research, but they've made it really difficult to find the information, which is the main reason I created the app. Because if you Google flat Earth, you're going to find all troll videos, all anti flat Earth videos. Like you Google, top 10 reasons the Earth could be flat, you're going to get top 10 reasons the Earth is a globe, right? So there's something going on there. And it's provable because even we had a congressional hearing and they talked about fake news and they used flat Earth as their example. And they said, well, every video has a Wikipedia thing underneath it. Flat Earth has been an ancient belief that has been disproven, but they never tell you how it's been disproven, right? We have proof after proof after proof that the Earth is not curved. It's not curved at all. And they don't want us to know that. So let me show you one quick example here. So this is, let me get rid of that. This is a lake. Okay, get back to it. And we got a camera on it, frozen lake. Now remember, large bodies of water at rest need containment. They lies flat when at rest, and it freezes flat too. Ice is flat, 6 inches off the ground. So we put these lights out here at 8 miles, 7 miles, 6 miles, and 5 miles. Okay. Now, according to globe math, from that height, this should be over 30 feet below the curve, 22 feet below the curve, 15 feet, and 9 feet. Let me show you what that looks like. So this is what we see, all of the lights lining up at the same line. But if the Earth was a globe, this one should be 30 feet below a physical curve. They
Is
should
the
be
scale big enough
hidden.
for
What's
the
that?
curve to be? Is the scale big enough for the curve to be
That's
there?
another program thing we say. The Earth is so big, we can't tell. You're just a microbe on a basketball, and the basketball looks flat to the microbe, right? But this is their
Huh.
math. This is their math. The globe math says that these balls should be 30, 22, 15, and 9. And I rounded down with these numbers. I'm giving the ball every benefit of the doubt, but they all show up, right? They all show up on a straight line, like we're looking across a flat plane. It's just a magical. But for some reason, this one pops up to here. This one refracts up to here. They say refraction, right? They say, oh, standard refraction. It's refracting up. It's not really there. It's hidden, right? So if I was on one side of your house and you're on the other side of your house, there's a point where you can go back far enough where you'll refract up and I'll be able to see you over the top of the house, according to the globe. Do you think that'll ever happen?
Not reasonable.
Thank you. It's not reasonable, and the globe is not reasonable. I mean, people say, Dave, what's the best flat Earth proof? What's your best flat Earth proof? And I say, every single one of them, if you just pay attention, every single one. There's so many, and they all completely destroy the globe. You only need to destroy it once, right? Well, what about photos in space, Dave? And people have no idea, right? If I just type in Earth, this is on the app here. EARTA. Um, these are 8 pictures from NASA. Okay, they're all completely different if you really look at them. So at least 7 of them have to be fake. Wait a minute. Well, I don't know. Then if 7 are fake, then 8 are fake. Okay, which one do you like? Because they can't all be real. They're all different sizes. This was the first one that was the blue marble was on everyone's iPhone. This is it. But if you look at that little squared area, we could see that they stepped and repeated the clouds,
Uh,
right? So again, this is in 2017. They said, look, global dimming, pollution, people are bad. We're ruining the planet. Look how dim the Earth is compared to 1978. But if you zoom in, look at the clouds. They're the same clouds. It's the same photo. They just changed the color. Right?
yeah,
This is from
I
NASA. This is from
don't
NASA.
like the treating the images with some curves and then telling that it's a new image. It seems like lazy work to me.
Lazy. They're lazy. Here's the thing. I go back and forth all the time. Are the deceivers lazy or stupid? Or are they telling us on purpose? There's a thing called revelation of the method, right? We do live in God's world, and they're not allowed to break our free will. So they always have to tell us what they're doing. They told us what they were doing on 9/11 for years. They told us again and again and again that it was coming. Okay? And nobody did anything about it. They always tell us what they're doing before they do it. And if we're too stupid to see it, then that's on us. That's how they believe, whether it's right or wrong, I don't know, that they keep their karmic energy or their karmic truth.
I think that the worst case of people lying would be when people mix in some of the truth into the mix, and then it works on our psychology as well as the confirmation bias, seeing, oh, I know this thing is true, so the things that are around this true thing should be true as well. Or what point I wanted to talk about linguistics and the way the language is built we don't have a nice way to say in English language, uh, how did you get the information? I think that there are languages that imply straight away how did you get the information when you are trying to say that it is true. Then the clause that I have been told by this person this information. We are not talking like that in English. We just say the fact, we say the statement, and we never mentioned if I heard it, if it is true, or if I have verified it myself.
It's easier just to
It's just
believe.
all in the same.
It's just
Yeah.
about believing. People, that we're born into a world where we shouldn't be told lies. And if someone says something, we should be able to take it as truth. But the world is so corrupt. People have become so disconnected from their true spirit that they do lie, and they do make up stuff, and then people spread those lies. Teachers are the worst because they're just spreading what they're told without verifying it. And if they try to verify it, they don't get the job, right? The researchers, scientists that go against mainstream, they don't get published. They lose their funding, right? It's a world, it's a totally screwed up system where kids are all their creativity is taken away, or their intelligence literally goes down. We poison them with fluoride in the water, dumbing them down, and disconnect them spiritually and hide the creator. That's what they're doing. That's what this world is. It's absolutely fascinating. But the good news is you can undo it all. Just unplug from the globe and let the ball go, spread the word, and when you disconnect, it's amazing. The creator literally has your back, and doing the right thing. There's something to it. Life gets really good when you do the right thing, and deep down inside, if you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. But a lot of people love their material, rewards for doing bad stuff. Just look what's going on in the entertainment world. All those people that got fame and fortune, they're all in deep crap now. With I don't know if you follow it down there with P Diddy and all of these celebrities and politicians all being exposed for their dirty deeds with all sorts of things. So it's fascinating.
I have no idea. I'm not a
That's good.
celebrity
It's
guy.
probably it's they're all in sex minor sex scandals. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff that's going on. It's best that you don't even look at it, because looking at it just gives it more energy. Again,
I've been quite entertained by U.S. elections. That has been
another
entertaining.
show.
That is
Yep.
what I was looking at, and I like the show. It is the quality show with high stakes. I'm like, this is mesmerizing.
There you
There are
go. We're in
two
it. This is all a
opposite
big show.
worldviews that seem to be
Yes.
colliding, and it's so fascinating.
It is
I am a big
fascinating.
fan.
Yeah. It's all a show. It's all a theater, and it's amazing how many people that are in the truth community that have fallen for it. There's some great people out there that just think everything is perfect. And I'll tell you, all the stuff that they have lined up that they say is going to happen, we've never been in a situation like this before. This is, if all of it was true, we'll take America back. The question is any of it true? Is any of it real? Is it all just a show before they tried some crazy, now they're programming us for a fake alien invasion, right? They're saying there's aliens coming out of the oceans now. I mean, that's what Congress is talking about. Aliens coming out of the ocean. Wait, if they're coming out of the ocean, they're not aliens. Okay.
That's new.
Yeah. It's incredible what they're doing, Werner von Braun, the Nazi that was brought over to run NASA, he said on his deathbed that the last big step is the fake alien invasion. If there is a fake, if we are invaded, it's not coming from outer space. It's coming from the outer space. The outer space. Hey, everybody, quick message that I'd like to share with all of you. Our lives are filled with toxins in our air, food, and even in the information we're taught. Avoiding them all is impossible, but helping your body detox doesn't have to be complicated. That's where Masterpiece comes in. Just 5 drops under your tongue twice a day, and that's it. Super easy, super simple, and it doesn't even taste bad. I've tried countless supplements, and while generally I'm pretty healthy, I didn't really feel much of an effect. But with Masterpiece, it delivered noticeable benefits. Check out the podcast I did with Terry from Masterpiece, linked below this video, or you can find links directly to Masterpiece on my website, flatearthdave.com, or in the shopping section on the app. The key to health is to detoxify. Now back to the show.
What do you think about the moon landing? Because the argument of the radiation belts around the Earth that would instantly kill human life with the technology of 50 years ago is quite compelling. And I'm like, was it just the public stunt to fight the Cold War InfoWars?
It was a public stunt to rob your mind of rational thinking, okay? So before we talk about the moon landing, let's talk about the moon. So we got the sun, the Earth orbits around the moon, around the sun, and the moon orbits around the Earth. So this
the moon
is going on.
Tricky. I do not trust the thing that only shows one face and hides the other. It's my personal beef with the moon.
It's worse than that. So remember, the Earth is going, I'm just going to use round numbers, 66,000 miles an hour this way. It's orbiting 66,000 miles an hour. Okay. So for the moon to outrun the Earth, the moon is traveling, they tell us, at 2,000 miles an hour. So there has to be going 68,000 miles an hour right here. So it's going 68,000 miles an hour, right? And so for it to go, it's got to go 68,000 miles an hour. Let me just fast forward. And now when it goes here, it has to slow down, because if it's going 68,000 miles an hour, it's going to run away. It's going to get farther away. So it has to be going 66,000 miles an hour, because the Earth is going 66,000 miles an hour. Then it has to slow down. It has to go over here. It has to slow down to let the Earth past it. And then when it gets over here, it has to speed up again to pass. How does it speed up and slow down? Speed up and slow down, and maintaining its exact perfect distance from Earth, right? The reason you can't figure it out
does it have the same distance from Earth? Is it not elliptical?
It varies just a little bit, but it would have to speed up and slow down, speed up and slow down. It is ridiculous. The next question is, what shape is the moon? Right? What shape is it? Is that a sphere? Well, kind of tricky. How about that one? Is that one a sphere? Is that one a sphere? Is that a sphere?
Yeah.
You sure?
It's a circle.
It's a circle, but it's flat.
Yeah.
Is that one a sphere?
I cannot tell. It's just a circle for me.
It looks like a circle. So is it flat or is it a cup? Okay. It's concave, right? So unless you can touch it and measure it and see it, that doesn't tell you. You don't know how big it is, how far it is, or anything, right? You can't tell any of that, right? This is NASA. They said this is the backside of the moon. I mean, could you make that in art class?
Procedural generation is a thing. Yeah, we can generate a lot of moons. I think we have had the game that procedurally generates the planets, not just the moon.
I think this is a ball of clay. Okay, not even a CGI thing. All right, but let me ask you a question. On a full moon night, down at the beach, no lights around, you can read a book by the full moon. The moon will cast your shadow on the ground. It's so bright. How is the moon lit? The moon is lit, according to the heliocentric religion, with the sun. The sun is reflecting off the moon, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what the inverse square law of light is? If you don't, I'll explain it. What it is
no idea. I'm not so sciencey.
But you don't have to be. It's very simple.
Yeah.
The farther you get away from a light, the dimmer it gets. Makes sense. Makes sense. If I had a light in a big room, I'm lighting up this area. If I walked all the way to the other side of the room, it's going to be dimmer over here because the light just gets dimmer over distance. And every time
If
you
it has
double the,
atmosphere,
well, forget the
because
atmosphere. It
it
doesn't,
needs to clash to something. If there is
yeah,
the
but it,
nothing, then it
the,
just goes.
you got this much Earth atmosphere and then 240,000 miles to the moon. So how is it like if we went halfway to the moon, it would be 4 times brighter than we see it. 4 times. Because every time you half the distance of something, it's 4 times brighter. So you half it again, it's 16 times brighter. Half again, it's 64 times brighter. When you get to 100 miles from the moon would have to be 60,000 times brighter than we see it. 60,000 times brighter. If it was 10 times brighter, I would argue that it would almost be as bright as the sun. 60,000 times brighter. So if we look at this is the moon lit up edge to edge, no specular highlight. This is a cement ball. I'm very close to it. The sun is shining on it. How come it's not bright like the moon? It's arguably more reflective.
Optics is trippy. You know what I find crazy is the color theory, where the color is a property of the material that reflects the light. This is crazy for me. I'm a
Well, the moon is
very
a dusty,
confused
dirty
ape.
ball. Yeah,
Yeah.
the moon is the dusty, dirty ball, right? But in the flat Earth theory,
So
we say that
we don't know the material, what it is made from, how luminescent, how
well,
good it is with
they say
refracting light.
it's dirt. They went to they went to the moon. They brought back moon dust, right? There's nothing special about it. The moon itself is a
Did they?
light. Yeah, that's what they say, right? But if you look at the
Hmm.
moon, that's a light. That's not reflecting sunlight. And it's also close to these clouds because why isn't it lighting up these clouds? What is the moon? I don't think it's a physical object at all, right? When you look up at the moon when there's clouds in the sky, why isn't that moon lighting up all of these clouds? It's 240,000 miles away, or is it right next to those clouds? I
Is
don't
it a
think the
point
moon is a
of
physical
perspective?
object.
What would happen if I like drive 100 miles to the left?
It seems like the moon follows you. The moon and the
Yeah.
sun and the luminaries are all in a position relative to your position. It's very, very interesting. The thing is, we can look up at the sky, as I showed you with the 4 moons that you couldn't tell what shape they were. We can speculate all day, but we don't need to look up at the lights in the sky to measure the shape of the floor. The lights in your ceiling don't represent the floor, the shape of your floor in the room that you're in right now, right? It makes absolutely no sense. And the guys that went to the moon, right? This is how is the moon this bright from Earth? Why isn't the Earth bright? The Earth is more reflective than the moon. And what is going on here? This is just nonsense. This is just pure nonsense. And people just believe it because they don't want to use their God given common sense. Right? How come these
On the
balls aren't
moon
reflecting light?
photos,
What?
on the moon photos, then they often do not have any stars because they're saying, oh, you do not see the stars from moon
Or
because
the
you can
sun.
only see the bright stuff. Yeah.
Did you ever see the sun from the moon? They
No,
never
no,
filmed the
not
sun from the
something I
moon
did.
because you can't film the sun and the stars in a tent in an Air Force base. Okay? Right? And then also there's a thing called specular highlight. Notice how there's no hot spot on here. If you light a ball, there's always a specular highlight. But the full moon is lit up edge to edge.
Hmm.
Specular highlight, no specular highlight. Interesting, right? We look up at the moon and at the sky, we see all of these stars. On the moon, no stars. No stars. Now, I think that the moon, people say, well, if if the some people on the far other side of the earth, they would see like this side of the moon, and other people here would see this side of the moon. That's a good argument. That is a good argument. If the moon was a sphere, if it was flat, they're like, well, then it would look oblong. You know, when you look at a circle at a distance, you're that's another good argument. But I don't think the moon is optical. I think the moon is optical. Look at this person. His body looks like it's facing us right now. He's facing straight forward, right? But as we move the camera around, look like his body looks like it's facing us. But as we move the camera around, it'll always be facing us.
Right.
I think that there's something like that going on in the sky. We have a domed sky.
Tell me more about the what you think the moon is. So if it's not a cosmic ball, then it is part of creation. But what is it?
Well, the moon cycle matches women's birth cycles. Interesting. If you leave women in nature, their periods will sync up with the moon cycles. The moon has been speculated by many ancient religions to be the deliverer and remover of souls in this soul system. It's interesting, and this is quite fascinating. This is the moon map. So this is the moon, and we highlighted these areas. This green area, it kind of matches up with the Earth map. And this right here would be our North Pole on this red line. And they say that our North Pole is migrating. Well, there's a thing called the Great Year, 26,000 years, and it goes all the way around. So this could be the extra land on our realm. And in 13,000 years from now, the inhabitable area will be over here. As our system moves around this greater Earth map, this is the moon. So sounds a little crazy. I hear you. I'm with you. Okay. I'm totally with you. But here's just another look at it, right? This is the inhabitable area. Now, the question is, people say, well, the moon, it's a reflection. I don't think it's a reflection. I think that the moon, the Earth, humans, DNA, everything, it's all connected. It's all one living system. So the fact that the moon looks like it does have some sort of similarity, and when you dive into that deeper, it's just the similarities are getting overwhelming. It's all part of the same living system. Just like they say our DNA is close to the same as a chimpanzee. Everything is related. It's all part of this living system. So what is the moon? My final answer is I have no idea. And neither do you.
Yeah, it's fun how it's the closest thing, but we don't know too much of it.
Right? And it's amazing how, how the sun made of helium and hydrogen ball of gas in a space vacuum, impossible, is holding on to the Earth and holding on to Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto, but it doesn't hold on to our moon. So when our moon comes around the Earth towards the sun, it doesn't speed up at all. When it goes away from the sun, it doesn't slow down at all. Because the gravity of the sun is very selective. It only holds on to planets. It doesn't affect moons. Because the Earth's gravity outweighs the sun's gravity when it comes to the moon, but somehow the sun can hold on to Pluto. This is all pseudoscience, nonsensical BS that people just short circuit on and go, I can't figure it out. You can't figure it out not because you're stupid, it's because it's stupid.
I love the idea of interconnectedness with the what we see in the night in the sky, and it has been a very valid thing for quite a lot of time. We were thinking about the stars straight away and trying to think. And the example that you given with the moon and women's cycles, I like this interconnectedness, because if women cycles sync, then we can have better parties where when everyone can participate and it's fun. And the position of stars, first like guided people at night, and
Yes.
then people found some connected things to the position of stars that modern science still cannot explain.
Yeah.
Numerology attempts to do so. Some other things like, I don't know
So
the
let
grades of those pseudosciences, but they try. Modern
so
science does not
remember,
try. Yeah.
we're spiraling through space, right? Traveling 4.5 billion miles a year, never to return to where we were before. They say that half of the star, or 80% of the stars in our galaxy, are binary, which means they're going around each other. And they say that some of them are trinary, where there's three stars, right? So they're everything's moving in their own directions at crazy, ridiculous speeds. But never once in all of recorded history have two stars changed position due to parallax. Never have any two stars changed position, right? Because we're moving, so things that are farther and closer should move at different speeds. They should change positions, right? Never once have two stars ever changed position. Should happen every day. They've always
I
been
didn't
the
get it.
same.
I didn't get it. What do you mean by
So
parallax
so
effect?
so parallax is this. So I got we got one object here, one object here. As I move, oops, as I move, they change position. You see how they're crossing?
Hmm.
I'm not moving them. Well, you're just moving, right? So
Yeah.
parallax means when you're driving down the road, the trees next to the side of the road are moving much faster than the trees in the distance. So everything changes, right? Right now, I got my fingers like this, but as I move, they change positions, right?
Okay.
Right? That's called parallax. Never once, if my fingertips were stars, right, they would change positions all the time. They would cross each other's paths. Never once have two stars ever changed positions. Never
Mm.
once. Now, I think the stars are where our souls live when we're not here in physical form. I think the stars are angelic. I think the stars are perfect. Therefore, they never have to move. I think the stars are fixed within the firmament, and we live in this soul system, right? Do you ever see this? This is a star. Our consumer optics have outgrown their lies. They want you to believe that a star is, again, an impossible burning ball of gas in a space vacuum. But when we zoom in on stars, we see stuff like this.
What is this one called?
I don't
Pulsar?
know the name of that one. This one is
No, I
Sirius.
mean the type.
The star.
Uh
It's
huh.
just a star. Oh, I'm not. A lot of people. There's a camera now called the Nikon P1000. It has 125 zoom. You can zoom in on these stars. Okay, here's the star Aldebaran, Aldebaran, whatever. If I can pronounce that correctly. Um, Interesting, right?
Is it the visible specter, or is it
You can
some
see it with
other
your naked
kind of stuff?
eye. This is
Okay.
Betelgeuse. Some of these stars you can see yourself, right? Right. Do you remember this picture from school? This is a nebula, Crab Nebula. They say this is where stars are born. Okay? This is so big your mind can't comprehend it. It's gas and dust in space. Wait a minute. Gas in a vacuum? And they say that this is where stars are born. So the gas and dust collapse and turn into a star. Wait a minute. If the glass is turning into a star, how come the whole thing doesn't just collapse? And when it becomes a star, it goes, okay, that's enough. You're big enough. What does it do? Spit it out, boop, and then go park yourself in the galaxy somewhere. Like, this is what they teach us in school. You can't figure it out because it's stupid. You're not stupid. They don't want you looking at these things. right?
Are we
This is the star
supposed?
Arcturus. You can
Are we
see it with
even
your naked eye. You can see
supposed
this one with your
to?
naked eye. Naked eye.
Uh-huh.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
How are we supposed, and are we really supposed to figure out the life cycle of something that is a star that outlive any conception of one human easily, like just a blink?
So you're in the heliocentric belief system that stars are billions and billions of years old, and the light that we're seeing is traveling for billions and billions of miles. Nonsense. The
Yeah, yeah,
stars are
this thing.
here. They're here in our system. As a matter of fact, so we launched a weather balloon with the cameras, 4K cameras, looking up, and we launched it at nighttime. And before it even took off, we could see all the stars. Beautiful, clear night. As that thing goes up, it's getting above the thickest part of the atmosphere. As it goes up, those stars should get clearer and clearer and brighter, right? They should, because I'm getting up through any cloud, any moisture. I'm getting up. When it got to 50, 60, 70,000 feet, 80,000 feet, all the stars disappeared.
Why? Do you have an
Great
explanation
question.
why the
Here,
stars disappear on
I,
high
I
altitude?
have a lot of theories, but I don't want to talk about theories. The heliocentric belief religion doesn't have an explanation for that. It debunks the heliocentric religion because the higher up you get, the less atmosphere you're looking through, the clearer the stars should be. It completely nullifies the heliocentric system, and falsification is independent of replacement. If I said, I think you stole the cookie out of my cookie jar, the last cookie, I was really looking forward to it. But then later you said, I couldn't have. I was in Australia at that time, and I have proof. And I say, well, if you didn't steal it, then who did? I'm going to think that you stole it until you show me who did. So that's falsification. I prove that you didn't steal the cookie, but I can't hold you responsible for it unless I have a replacement theory. I don't know why the stars disappeared. I have theories, but the heliocentric system has been falsified. That's what matters. Right? This is what NASA wants you to believe Arcturus looks like. This is from NASA. This is what Arcturus looks like. 211 trillion miles away. And you think you can see that with your naked eye? 211 trillion miles away. Let's talk about a trillion for a second. How big is a trillion? How long do you think 1 trillion seconds is? Do you want to take a guess? 1 trillion seconds. How long? No calculator.
I'm not a
How
math
long?
person. I'm a words person. Let's
Yeah.
say
But take a guess.
20,000 years.
Wow. You got the closest. It's 31,000 years. Okay. But that's really good. That's awesome. Most people say 100 years, 50 years, 7 weeks. They have no idea what a trillion is. Okay. So 31,000 years. The closest star is 25 trillion miles away. So if we were going a mile per second in a rocket ship, we went for 31,000 years, we're only 1/25th of the way there. If I had a rocket ship that went 100,000 miles an hour, which is unfathomable speed, it would only take us 28,000 years to get to the closest star. 25 trillion miles away. This one's 211 trillion miles away. I could see it with my naked eye. This is all provable nonsense. Okay? Our sun, they say if our sun was a yoga ball, right? A yoga ball about this big, right?
Oh.
We're on a BB. We're on the size of a small marble or a BB, right? The Earth compared to the sun. Now, if the sun was just a mile over your head, it would fill the entire sky, right? Imagine you're on the top of a BB and that yoga ball is a millimeter over you. All you're going to see is the surface of the sun. Then we move the sun 93 million miles away where they tell us it is. It's now reduced to the size of a coin held at arm's length. You with me? Right?
Mm-hmm.
You hold the coin up, it's about the size of the sun. So it reduced. If I doubled the distance, it would be a quarter of that size. So now it's the size of a pencil eraser. Double it again, it would be like a large star. Double it again, I don't even know if you can see it. Well, that's 8 times the distance with those doublings. And 8 times the distance, they say the sun is 8 light minutes away. So it would be a light hour away. So at a light hour away, you couldn't see the sun. Well, let's just make sure that we couldn't see it. Let's make it 24 times farther. So at a light day away, There's no possible scientific way that you could resolve the sun with your eyes because its angular size is way too small. And forget the brightness issue. That's a whole nother issue. It would be so dim. So at a light hour away, we can't see the sun. They tell us Polaris is 430 light years away. 430 light. They tell us Polaris is 46 times bigger than the sun. So if we made it 46 light days away, you couldn't see it. It would be small. It would be the same angular size that we see the sun, that I just moved the sun to. So you couldn't see Polaris at 2 light months away, rounding up again. They tell us it's 433 light years away. So you couldn't see any of these. If you take the time and do the simple math and understand the angular resolution limits of your eyes, understand the inverse square law of light, understand these things that they never taught you, make your brain actually do the work that you're capable of doing, you would know that the heliocentric religion is a religion.
Do you believe in the laws of karma? Like, if you are
Yes.
misleading like a whole ton of people on purpose,
Yes.
but you think, well, but I am keeping the jobs for those thousands people. Does karma, like, is karma
That
get into any
is there a balance?
equilibrium? Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm lying to them, but I'm actually helping them keep their. I think that's bad karma. I think it's bad karma. I think that if everyone just told the truth and everybody helped their person to the left of them and the person to the right of them, everything would be good.
But if we have this experiment where we have a community that expects everyone to tell the truth, and we have one bad actor that tells lies, it will be ruined. So is that even a possibility of having everyone tell the truth?
I mean, the world that we have free will, people can do what they want. If you break someone else's free will, that's bad karma. The basic only law is God's law. Don't interfere. Don't break anyone else's free will. Don't, and that just, you can figure out what that is. Just don't break anyone else. You have the freedom to do and think whatever you want as long as it doesn't break anyone else's free will, interfere upon them. So that's how this world should work. But then they've put all these laws. And what is a law? It's something that a bunch of people made up, right? It's not God's law, right? They're making rules and mandates and codes or whatever, but they're not really laws. No.
What do you mean when you say God's law?
God's law is God created us as free human beings with free will, and you're not allowed to break anyone else's free will. I'm not allowed to kill you. I'm not allowed to steal from you. I'm not allowed to slander you. I'm allowed to give you my opinion. I think you're a jackass. Okay? I'm allowed to say that. It's not nice. I don't really think that. Okay? Right? But that's, I'm not allowed to go there and tie you up and hold you hostage, That's breaking God's law.
It's quite a healthy perspective.
Thank you.
I mean that there are differences in how people choose to express what they think, but by God's law, and not even most of them would not stand very good point coupled with the laws of karma. They would say, "Oh no, God is this thing, karma is whatever."
Hey, you asked about the
Yours
moon landing
holds
before.
up.
Let
Yeah,
me
yeah,
just
I did.
show you this real quick. This is the moon buggy, right? So in 1969, they went up to the moon with a goat cart and golf clubs, and they played golf and drove around on the moon. What do we see here? This is a friggin' umbrella painted gold. These are two crappy beach chairs. If you zoom in on this thing, there's duct tape. There's no tire marks anywhere. Like, how did they get here? how did it, where are the tire tracks? It's like a crane put it down there. Okay. This thing
Hmm.
cost in 1972, it cost $38 million. Right? For $37 million
Yeah.
today, you can buy this bad boy. Okay. But this cost $38 million back then. It's nonsense. It's complete and total garbage. Here's the problem. You're a good person. Most people, everyone's born a good person, right? To understand that there's this much deception in the world is too much for some people. They're like, lie big or go home. That's make if you're gonna lie, make it a big one. The lie's so big that people can't see it. People just
My
can't see it.
favorite image from the moon landing would be a shot where we see a moon rat.
A moon rat. Oh,
Uh, yeah. There was a like the image of moon just the rat just chilling near the.
yeah, I saw that one. You see this one on Mars? This is the rover, and we're zooming in on the rover, right? This is a picture of the rover. Look, there's a fly.
Mhm.
So there's flies on Mars. Did we just discover life on Mars, or did we just catch them faking it here on Earth? People don't want to look
Yeah.
at reality. People don't want to look. Like, look, here's the shadow. This is the drone. It's got its shadows going right here. Where's the shadow from this thing? How come there's no shadow here? If that has a shadow, this has to have a shadow, right? Get it?
This is Mars again.
That's on Mars. How about this? Which one is Mars? Which one is Devon Island? In they literally just make crap up, right? This is Devon Island. This is Mars.
Hmm. So that is for falsification from a
Yeah,
place in some desert.
yeah. So let me ask a question: is this Mars or is this a desert here on Earth?
Yeah, looks like Earth.
Well, it's Earth because you
But
got the blue sky. You got the
what we can do with some filters?
yeah. Wait, how about this? You sure it's not the moon? Or maybe it's across from New York City in New Jersey, a construction site. This is me. I did this, right? But this is the original picture that they gave us of Mars. I added the
Mhm.
sky. I turned it into the moon. I turned it into a construction site. I don't get $72 million every single day budget. That's what NASA gets. $72 million a day. I did this for free in 5 minutes.
That's a huge budget. What's their justification right now? At one moment they were competing with USSR for like a space force, saying, "Hey, if we don't put a human in the space, then USSR will, and we will lose." So that was justified by national pride and beating the Soviets. What is it now? Like, what are the benefits that justify this kind of spending for NASA?
Because they're going to save the human race. Because as we destroy this planet, we're going to terraform Mars and move the civilization there. So, first we have to go to Mars and we have to change the atmosphere so it can hold human life. NASA just announced the other day that the soil on Mars is better for growing crops than it is here on Earth. Can you believe that? Okay.
Oh,
There,
so that guy did not have to use poop to grow potato on
correct,
Mars.
correct, correct, correct. So I mean that was an article that came out. Um, Here's the thing: like instead of transforming the atmosphere on Mars and sending things there for like $1 million a pound to get it there, why don't we just build some? Yeah, everything would have to be in a dome there anyway. Why don't we just build some ecosystems in Ethiopia and do it here? Because we could run railroad tracks to them to send all the supplies that we need. Okay, I mean, we could do it's the dumbest crap ever, and people don't think about it because we, as children, we're taught about space. It's the coolest thing. Every kid wants to be an astronaut. We love Star Wars and Star Trek and Empire Strikes Back, and every movie has space, and it's amazing. It's just it's our fantasy, right? But the truth is, all of that stuff is here on Earth, right? We're gonna have to wrap this up in a minute, but let me just show you. And again, we do not need to speculate what's beyond the shoreline of Antarctica to see what's beyond there. But what am I showing here? What is this?
What are those?
What is this? What if
amoeba?
No. What if this was our map? We're here. This white ring, remember what this is Antarctica? And here's some outer lands. This is our pond. And guess what? There's other ponds over here, over here. These are all other ponds across the plane. Each pond has its own sun. So each pond occupies a piece of the plane, or we'll call it a plane, P-L-A-N-E-T, a planet. So these could be other planets across the plane, just thousands of miles away, not incomprehensible light years. Okay? This is 178 other worlds. This is called the Nos Confunden map. And the app, if you go to the book section and go to the More Land right here. Oops, get rid of that. Got a new book here. And this book right here, The Navigator Across the Ice Wall, read it. Fiction or nonfiction, however you want to read it, just read it. It's amazing. And there's another book called The Iron Republic. You can actually find that on YouTube. Just search The Iron Republic. The Morgile is the name of the channel. He read the whole book for you. Again, make people lazier. While you're driving your car, listen to the book. It'll blow your mind. More Land, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of More Land. There you go.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I am still under the shock that NASA uses the plot of a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger to justify the spending.
Yeah, it's
remember,
crazy.
It's quite an old one.
Yeah, again, all of this stuff is to capture your mind and make you believe in outer space. The top reason, in my opinion, is to hide the creator. Because if everyone knew 100% that this world was created by a creator, they can't control us. They need us confused and lost, right? They need us to be afraid of nuclear war. That's another thing. Do you know that nuclear bombs don't exist?
No.
Didn't know that.
Never
We
heard
don't have time
that.
to get into it. On my website, flatearthdave.com, scroll down. There's a big banner. It says nuclear hoax. There's a little crow that flies in there. Crow 777 Radio Podcast. I highly recommend everybody subscribe to that podcast. 2 hours in Crow. And he goes over the nuclear hoax. Now, don't believe anything I say. Don't believe anything he says. Going to lay out the information for you. Then you can go verify it yourself. But I guarantee if you listen to those podcast episodes that I have linked there, you will know that nuclear bombs aren't a hoax. What does that do for you? How does that change your life? Well, now if the news is on in the background, I don't recommend it. And they say, "Oh, Putin and North Korea, and nuclear, they're going to blow up the world. And it's going to, Israel, right?" You can go, "Oh, nuclear bombs, ha ha ha." You'll laugh. You see a clown nose and a clown wig on that person, and instead of every cell in your body being in fear mode, being at dis-ease, you laugh and go, "Oh, that's just nonsense," and just laugh, right? Because I know that nuclear war isn't on the top of your mind, but it's something that's on the bottom of your mind. It's something that's back there going, "Man, I just hope these friggin' politicians work this crap out before anyone does something stupid." Now you know it's stupid. You don't have to worry about it at all because it's fake. Yeah. Here's the bad news. The bad news is they've got weapons worse than nuclear bombs now. Way worse. Directed energy weapons that they're already using, in different places in the world. A whole nother topic. Look at Maui. Look at, the weather warfare. And there's weapons that they can do crazy stuff with, but nuclear bombs, as described, do not exist. Don't believe me? Go check
Dave,
that out.
how did you make the greatest news that I heard from you just like not as good? It was like bombs that don't exist. I'm like, whew, that's good. That's good. That's a relief. And
Isn't that
then
a
you like
relief? Isn't that a relief?
they have better.
But here's
Yeah.
the thing. I just said it. If you just believe me, good, you're right, but you're lazy. You need to verify it. So all the work has been done for you. Crow and his team have done all of the research and they've put it together for you. Now it's like, well, I got to do it myself. No, you don't. Other people can organize and get the facts for you, right? Other people can do it. And then you read the report and you're like, oh, now I get it. Now I see. And if there's something in the report that you're not sure if it's true, go verify it. Okay. People say the trolls will come on here. The trolls are going to fill your comments, by the way. They follow me everywhere. Okay.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah. They're gonna, but you'll notice they'll call me all sorts of names. They'll say I'm a grifter. They love the word grifter. And they'll say that all of my stuff has been disproven, but they'll never offer a globe proof. And if you look at their channels, they're empty. There's 0 subscribers, 0 content. Right? They're probably just bots. Right? But there's a group. There's some people that are actually, I call them people, but they're actually just lost souls. That literally follow me everywhere, but they have yet to offer one globe proof, right? One globe proof. I offer 3 Bitcoins for one globe proof. But yeah, for anyone if you, excuse me, here's my challenge. Every day there's a daily video right here on the app. I say, watch the daily video every day while you're having your tea or coffee for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you think the earth is a globe, send me a proof. But before you do, you got to go to the frequently asked questions section. Make sure it's not answered there, which it probably is. And then you can start over again. And within that 2 weeks, you'll become a flat earther. That's that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Dave, this was a great interview. Thank you.
Thanks
for sharing your perspective. And we have done quite heavy lifting today.
Yeah, we've only scratched the surface. The app has tons of information in it. FlatEarthDave.com. There's a crash course. You'll see a big picture of me. It says crash course. Start there. Just watch the first 3 videos there. It's scientifically impossible to watch those first 3 videos and still be a member of the heliocentric religion. It's just impossible. The reason that you believe the earth is a globe is what? And the answer that you all have is you're going to scramble for an answer. And the answer you come up with is just inductive. You'll go, well, boats over the horizon. Boats disappear from the bottom up. Fully explained. 100% explained. And the observations that we see, like those lights over the frozen lake, prove that things don't go over the horizon. Right? Sunsets over the ocean. Right? I seen the sunset over the ocean. It's going below the earth. No, it's not. In the frequently asked questions section, the section, where does the sun go? Where does the sun go? Right there. Fully explained. 100% explained. I can go over it with you. I do it in many of my interviews. On the app, if you go to the button that looks like a spider web, it's called More Resources. By the way, if you long press on any button, an explanation comes up what it does. So that's how you can learn how to use the app. But I have my interviews section. Well, my interview section didn't load right here, but it would be right here.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder what's going on there. Hopefully my channel didn't get deleted. When you all the interviews will be there, including this, but go watch some of them. I discuss sunsets in detail. And here's the thing: you'll go, I never thought about it that way, and now I can see. Right? If you say, I can't believe the earth was flat, that is true because you set yourself up. I can't believe. I can't climb that tree. Well, then you can't. What you believe, whether it's if you believe you can or you can't, that's the truth for you. So again, you need to use your God-given common sense. You need to spend that energy to see the world for what it is, and it's totally worth it.
Amazing.
Follow me on X, and all my social medias are at flatearthdave.com.
Cool. Perfect.
All right, guys.
Alrighty, we will be closing now.
Thanks, Alex. See ya.
Hey, everyone. If you enjoyed this interview, please help support my work and help wake up others by referring or gifting the app to at least one person today. By doing that, you're going to help wake people up and help me to continue doing other interviews like this. With the censorship out there that's going on, it's very difficult to find relevant information. And the app, as you know, brings people to the truthful information of our world. So help support my work, help support your efforts in waking up friends, family, and strangers. Gift them the app or just recommend the app. And let's make 2025 the year Flat Earth breaks free. Check the links below for information on how to gift the app or just refer the app to others and use your referral code to earn Dome cryptocurrency and a free subscription. Thanks.